What's up, guys? This is my 1 month update, and technically, I am actually 1 day before 1 month, but I decided to do it today because it was a little bit easier with my schedule. But yeah, out here in nature again. This is a new episode of my nature show, is what it feels like sometimes. But everything's going pretty well. I'll just kind of jump right into it. So everything in terms of confidence has been a lot better. I feel like in just every situation, I felt more present, more confident in myself, and I don't feel like I'm trying to be someone that I'm not. I just feel like this energy inside of me is finally just free to do whatever it wants, and I feel like I can just not feel like I'm surrounded by this kind of I don't want to say negativity, but a little bit of that negativity bias that kind of happens when you start slipping up all the time and whatnot. So that's been really good. I have been really just kind of staying busy the past few days. I'm not really too focused on other people right now. I'm kind of just trying to get my life in order, and been focusing a lot on my career recently, which has been really nice. Dedicating a lot of time to that the past few days. I will say it's been a crazy week a little bit because this week is my 30th birthday, so I've been just spending some time with family. I just had a little dinner with them yesterday, and doing a little get together with my friends coming up soon. So it's going to be nice to just kind of celebrate and have fun this week. But on top of that, I've been really trying to stay as healthy as possible. Yesterday was a little bit of an exception because I did eat some birthday food, so it got a little unhealthy there. But today I'm jumping back into the gym and getting back on track with eating healthy. It's not like it's been that bad, but it's been a little bit all over the place the past week or two. But I will also mention too that when I've been in the gym recently, I've noticed that I've kind of walked away with some soreness, especially in my back and kind of spine area. So I've kind of had to really make sure I'm stretching a little bit more frequently, which in the past I was always really bad about stretching, but I've kind of realized that that's something I want to start taking more seriously and actually make sure that I'm doing like a routine with stretching, because I've sometimes been guilty of having poor posture and not always the best alignment, and it has caused me some problems in recent years. So I'm trying to start to actually work on that and fix it so that it improves going forward in my life. But when your spine is normal, or I don't want to say normal, but when you're born, it's very straight for most people. But what happens over time is it starts slowly going like this because of sitting all the time, or working at a computer, anything like that. And basically that started to happen to me over time. So I've had to start making these little micro adjustments in my day to try to counteract that a little bit more. But I've only been doing these stretches for a little while, and I have noticed a difference, but it's more about just being disciplined about making sure to do them. And I did also just want to talk a little bit about how I mentioned yesterday, or I guess it was 2 days ago, that your confidence is something that you build from within. And that has been really powerful for me lately, because I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes there are going to be people that purposely try to tear your confidence down. And sometimes that might be because they're going through something of their own and it helps them somehow feel better or think that it's making them feel better. Or it might also be because they just maybe are not in a very good point in their life. I mean, it could be any reason why they're trying to do this, but sometimes you might encounter somebody who comes up to you and is like I'll just give you an example. Like, I've had some people say like, oh, like when I've like mentioned like working out or something, they've been like, oh yeah, you need to do some working out, like you're on the small side. Or they might be like, yeah, you need to do some push-ups. Or if you're a girl, or if you maybe you have like the opposite problem, like somebody's like, oh yeah, like you could probably stand to lose a few pounds. And it's like, when people say stuff like that, you really kind of have to ask yourself, like, okay, where is this, like, is this really coming from the fact that they just want to be insulting? And most people are not going around just thinking to themselves, hey, I think I'll like insult some people today. It's usually something's going on inside of them, and they feel the need to belittle or try to belittle someone else. So it can be really easy sometimes, even if you're building this confidence, to sometimes be like, oh, well, damn, like I guess I'm working so hard on these things and I guess it's like not really helping. But you have to really kind of reverse engineer that a little bit and say to yourself, like, okay, this person's clearly dealing with their own problems. I'm gonna, excuse my language, but I'm gonna cut out the bullshit, because people are gonna put a lot of that, their own bullshit, into your mind, basically trying to get to you. And what this, if anything, this whole thing has really taught me that you've got to have a thick skin, because the thinner your skin is, the easier that you let those things get to you, the more that's going to have an impact on your daily life. And you cannot let that stop you from doing the things that you're trying to do, because at the end of the day, you're going to walk away from this life, or maybe you're going to walk away from this year even having done a certain amount of things for yourself. And basically, you can either walk away from this year saying to yourself, I'm proud of everything that I did, I worked hard at X, Y, and Z. Or you can walk away from it saying to yourself, well, I tried to do those things, but there were some things that kind of got in the way of me doing what I was supposed to. And so that's just really important to start to shift your mind in that way, because if you don't, you're gonna live with regret, and that's just not a positive thing for anyone. So for those of you who are struggling on this journey, I'm going to just be a little bit more specific about what happens in the first month, because that's kind of what this video is about. I have made 1 month updates before, but this time is going to be a little bit different, because I am really like pretty much doing like hard mode, as they call it, this time. And so the journey forward is going to be a little bit of a different set of circumstances than maybe previous ones that I've done. So in the first month, what I can tell you is the first part of the month, maybe even the first like 3 weeks, were very difficult for me. And that's usually been the case from my past experience. There will be like spans of a couple days where it gets easier, but generally speaking, the first 2 or 3 weeks are pretty difficult in terms of like, not actually what you'd think. It's not because of the urges, even though those are difficult too, but the more difficult thing is actually facing your own emotions, because these, they will feel heightened, and you will feel like sometimes they're so overwhelming that you don't know how to move past them in certain moments. And I've talked a lot about in the past doing diversions and creating distractions when those things happen, because sometimes that is really the only way to walk away from those things cleanly. not to say that you always want to use that. Sometimes you do need to sit in your emotions a little bit, but especially in those early stages, it's not worth it to try and risk it and just say like, well, I think I can manage it. Like, no, you just need to get out of the situation, put yourself in a different environment. So um, I would say like in some ways you may actually experience a decrease in confidence initially, a decrease in confidence, and maybe you might also be even more in your head for like the first week or two especially. But I would say I was the most in my head for like the first week, and then it got a lot better the second week. But then the third week there was kind of like a resurgence of that uncertainty, but it was a little bit different. It was more like anxiety more than anything. The first week was more just like feeling down and sort of depressed, but the third week was like I still felt some of that, but it was a little bit more of like an anxious energy. So a little less like mellow feeling. Um, and yeah, basically, I think confidence and uh, social skills have gone. I mean, I don't know if this is the case for everyone, but for me, it kind of went up around the 2 or 3 week mark, and it's pretty much kind of stayed in that zone. If anything, it's gotten a little bit higher the last week. And once you kind of get towards the end of the month, from my experience, is when things will start to level out a little bit more. So that's what's really been going on the past few days. It's kind of leveled out, and I've started to not feel like I'm trying so hard to like make sure that I'm staying away from triggers, and I'm still staying away from them, but I don't feel like I'm fighting myself quite as much in this last week. And I think because of that, I feel a little more just calm, and my energy feels more grounded. And I think generally that's been true in my past experience. It's always like once I get to the 1 month, it starts to feel a little bit easier to just maintain this new habit pattern. But in my past experience too, like even after the 1 month mark, there are still kind of benefits that happen. So it's definitely not like 1 month is not the end all be all. You will continue to see benefits long after 1 month as well that are actually new, and not necessarily something you'll see in the first month. But this has just kind of been my experience. Oh, I guess one other thing I should mention too is I did go through a little bit of a flat line. It wasn't like a long one this time. It was kind of just like there are a few days where I started to feel like I was thinking to myself, like I don't really feel any sort of sex drive, I guess. And it wasn't like it was completely like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just like not active. Like it's not that I think it was like totally gone, but I just like kind of didn't really feel like I was having really any thoughts of that nature. But that does return, and I would say like definitely in the past few days it has started to return. So if you are in a flat line, just be aware that it's something that's going to happen, and may even happen multiple times, but it passes, and it's pretty quick, honestly, from my experience, most of the time. But one thing I definitely, I guess, recommend is don't feel like you need to like check on that, because I think sometimes it can be like tempting. You're like, uh-oh, like is everything not functioning anymore? And that's not what it is usually. So that's your anxiety actually talking, kind of like trying to get you back into the habit. So just remember that will happen for most people. But anyway, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys have a good rest of the week. It will likely be a little while before I'm able to do another video. Not too long, but got a pretty busy week ahead. So take care of yourself, stay strong, peace.